Members of the West End Reads Company, this is your half-hour call. The readathon will start on the 1st of November. Hi everyone, my name is Chloe, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here today. Today's video is an exciting one and I've been hinting at this for months, so no one's going to be surprised at all. But without further ado, I am happy to announce that I will be hosting the West End Reads Readathon from the 1st to the 30th of November. It will be running the entire month. I did originally plan to do a shorter one, but then we came up with so many prompts for it that I needed to make it a little bit longer. And yes, it is a readathon that is celebrating all things theatre, although I will say actually it is musicals based this time round. Plays may be added in the future, but my heart lies in musical theatre, so that's what we're starting with. I'm going to link all the information that you're going to need down below. I'm going to link a sign up sheet where you will need to enter your unique username, which you're going to use to track your books throughout the month. I'm also going to ask you on there what your favourite musical is because I'm just interested. Then there is going to be the submissions sheet where you will track each book as you read it, and also I will link a file with all the prompts on there because there are a lot. I am well aware of that fact. I'll tell you now, there are 60 prompts in this readathon, which, yeah, is a lot. There are no points or no teams or anything like that. You can choose to read as many books as you want to. It's completely up to you. There are a couple of different ways to do this readathon, which I will get to in a minute when I explain how the prompts work. But yeah, you completely pick how many your TBRs. You only want to read one book for the entire month, feel free to do that. If you want to try and read for every prompt, you can try and do that as well. I will say there is a rule that you can only do 2 prompts per book, and I will explain that in a minute as well. But you know, you could read 30 books this month and hit every single prompt if you really wanted to. But let's get on to the prompts, shall we, and how the readathon actually works. But actually, before I get onto that bit, I just want to say a huge shout out to Megan from 12 Books a Day, who has helped me come up with a lot of this readathon. I sort of had the basic premise in mind, and then I went to her because I know she's a fellow theatre lover, and she helped me sort of narrow down the musicals that we're picking and sorting out the prompts and things like that as well. She's been very helpful throughout this entire thing, so I just want to give a big shout out to her. But yeah, let's go on to the prompts. So like I said, we have 60 prompts for 60 different shows. Each time you read a book for a prompt, you are going to see that show. That is what you're doing. But to go and see a show, you kind of have to buy a ticket first, right? So, in order to buy the ticket for this readathon, you will need to consume some sort of content to do with the show that the prompt relates to. So let me explain that a little bit more. If you want to listen to one song off the cast recording for that musical, you have bought your ticket for that show. If you would like to listen to the entire cast recording, you have bought your ticket for that show. If you would like to watch a film adaptation or a pro shot, you have bought your ticket for that show. If you would like to actually go and buy a theatre ticket and go and watch that show in person, you have bought your ticket for that show, quite literally, and it counts for the book as well. So essentially, for each read you do this month, you have to also do something to do with the actual theatre show that it relates to. Like I said, this could be very easy for people like myself whose daily music that they listen to is musical theatre, because every time I just get a whim to listen to a certain song, I'll be like, oh, I can read a book to go with that. Or it might be that you don't really partake in any sort of theatre viewing at all, and this is going to encourage you to maybe listen to a few more musicals. When I say you can do this in a couple of different ways, you can pick your TBR based around musicals that you know you love, so that you can say listen to your favourite cast recording and then find a book that fits that prompt. Or you can pick the prompts you really love and then maybe get introduced to some musicals that you've never even heard of before. I'm really excited to see how everyone decides to make their TBRs for this. When I say that you can only do 2 prompts per book, that is because if you are going to the theatre, the most amount of shows that you're usually going to do in one day is 2. You can have a 2-show day, you can see a matinee and you can see an evening performance. So you can do up to 2 prompts per book, and it's a 2-show day. You do have to do the theatre part for each show though. So you can do 1 book, but you would have to listen to potentially like 2 songs or 2 cast recordings or watch 2 shows, something like that. You know what I'm saying. That is pretty much all the rules. Everything else is very much up to you. Like I said, you pick how many books you want to read, you pick which books you want to read, you pick how exactly you go about buying your ticket for the show. The prompts are also very vague, so you can stretch them as much as you want to. But what you need now is the prompt. So let's get up our cast list, shall we? So for each of these prompts, I have actually given you a little bit of help as well if you are just wanting to listen to like one song off of a cast recording and you're not sure where to start. I have actually given you recommendations of what my favourite songs are from each of these musicals, and also Mega's got involved at this stage as well. So if there are 2 songs listed on here, it usually means that the top one is my favourite and the bottom one is Meg's favourite. It started off as just me being interested in what her favourites were, and then it ended up being with, well, here's another list of recommendations. If there is only 1 song listed, it usually means that we agreed or that one of us hasn't really listened to the cast recording too much. But let's stop rambling and actually go through the shows, shall we? So the first musical is Anne Juliet. The prompt is a retelling and the song recommendation is Everybody or The Boy Band's Back, which is just a fun song. Then we have The Addams Family, which is to read a spooky book, and the song for that is Pulled. I do recommend listening to the Carrie Hope Fletcher version. For Anastasia, we have A Second Chance. That can be a book that you're giving a second chance to, or it could be like a second chance romance, however you want to stretch it. And the song recommendations for that are Journey to the Past and In a Crowd of Thousands. For Anything Goes, we have a book set at sea, and the songs are Anything Goes or You're the Top. For Bear, a pop opera, the prompt is Underrated. If you'd like to know a little bit more about why that show is underrated, feel free to talk to Meg about it. I'm sure she will happily tell you all about it. And the songs for that are All Grown Up or You and I. We then have Be More Chill. The prompt is Friends, whether that's a book about friendship or a book that a friend has recommended to you, and the song for that has to be Michael in the Bathroom. For Beauty and the Beast, we have Forced Proximity, and the song recommendations are Belle or Be Our Guest. For Beetlejuice, we have A Book About Death, and if you've listened to that musical at all, you may also have the same line running through your head every time that prompt gets said, like I do, and the song recommendation for that is Say My Name. We then have got Bombshell, which I will say is not an actual musical you could go and watch. It was the musical that they were creating in the TV show Smash that never actually got put on stage like it was supposed to because the show didn't do well enough. And so the prompt is It Deserved More. So basically a book that you think needs more hype. And the songs for that are They Just Keep Moving the Line and Secondhand White Baby Grand. Then we have Bonnie and Clyde, which is a book about crime, and the songs are Dying Ain't So Bad and That's What You Call a Dream. For Book of Mormon, we have a book with religion, and the song for that is Spooky Mormon Hell Dream. There isn't a song from Meg for this one because she refused to pick one because she does not like this show. We then have Cabaret, which is a book set during a war, and for this we have Maybe This Time or Mine Hair. For Cats, we have a book with a bad adaptation, and if you've seen the Cats film, I don't think I need to explain this anymore. And for the song recommendations, we have Memory and Mr. Mistopheles. For Chess, we have a monochromatic book, whether that is a book with a black and white cover or just a book where the world is very black and white, like good and evil. And the song recommendations are I Know Him So Well and Anthem. For Chicago, we have a book with trials, and the song recommendations are Mr. Cellophane and Cell Block Tango. For Cinderella, we have a moving book. Cinderella is the Andrew Lloyd Webber Cinderella that did not end on the best of terms. But the reason why we picked a moving book for this is that before the closing of it was so badly handled, when you bought certain tickets at this theatre, there was a line on the ticket that says you will be moved in more ways than one, and it did involve some moving stage pieces that was very fun to experience in the audience actually. And the song recommendations for this are I Know I Have a Heart. Then we have Come From Away, which is a book set in another country, and the song recommendation is Me and the Sky. For Company, we have a book with a wedding, and the song recommendations are Not Getting Married Today and Ladies Who Lunch. For Dear Evan Hansen, it's a character who's struggling with their mental health, and the song recommendation is Requiem. I was very happy when Meg also picked Requiem because it is an underrated song. I love it so much. For Everybody's Talking About Jamie, we have a book set in your hometown because Everybody's Talking About Jamie, for anyone who doesn't know, is set in Sheffield, which is where I'm from. The original production actually transferred down to the West End from Sheffield. It was on at a theatre that is very close to where I live. And the song recommendation for this is The Wall in My Head. For Evita, we have a book with a narrator, so either it being a first-person narrator or a third person who is like a named character. So for example, The Book Thief being narrated by Death, not just like an omnipresent third person who you don't know who they are, because otherwise that could kind of be any book. But the song recommendations for this are Another Suitcase in Another Hole or Oh What a Circus. For Frozen, we have a middle grade, and the song recommendation is Monster, which, hate to tell you this, but it is a far superior song to Let It Go. Then we have Fun Home, which is a book with LGBTQIA+ rep, and the song for this is Ring of Keys. Funny Girl is a book which is based on a true story, and the song recommendations are People or Don't Rain on My Parade. Grease, a book which is set in a school, and the song recommendations are There Are Worse Things I Could Do and Hopelessly Devoted to You, because apparently I am a Rizzo and Meg is a Sandy. We found this out when we were choosing the songs. We then have Hadestown, and the prompt is Mythology. The songs are Wedding Song and If It's True. For Hairspray, it's a book with a diverse cast, and the songs are Without Love or I Know Where I've Been. If you want to see Hamilton, you'll be reading a political book, and the only correct song choice for this was always going to be Satisfied. For Heathers, we have A Toxic Romance, and the song recommendation is I Say No. We have The Hunchback of Notre Dame, which is a book about loneliness, and the song recommendations are Out There or Captain of the Guard. In the Heights is a debut, and the song recommendation is Breathe. Into the Woods is a fairy tale, and the songs are On the Steps of the Palace and Agony. Jesus Christ Superstar is a book with betrayal, and the songs are I Don't Know How to Love Him and Heaven on Their Minds. Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat is a childhood favourite, and the song is Close Every Door. The Last 5 Years is a book with heartbreak, and the songs are See I'm Smiling and If I Didn't Believe in You, because we had to get a Kathy and a Jamie in there as well, apparently. For Legally Blonde, we have Out of Your Comfort Zone, and the song is Chip on My Shoulder. Les Miserables, you knew it was coming. The prompt is an epic. That can be a big book or just a book that has like an epic storyline. And the song recommendations are On My Own, which is my favourite song of all time, and Do You Hear the People Sing? Shout out also though to One Day More, because it is the best end of Act 1 song ever created. We then had The Lion King, which is an animal companion, and the songs are I Just Can't Wait to Be King or He Lives in You. For Little Shop of Horrors, pretty self-explanatory. It's a horror and the song is Suddenly Seymour. For Mamma Mia, we have a mystery. The songs are Slipping Through My Fingers and The Winner Takes It All. For Matilda, it's a book about books and the song is When I Grow Up. Miss Saigon, another culture, a book set in a culture that is different from your own, and the songs are The Movie in My Mind or I'd Give My Life for You. Moulin Rouge is to reread a favourite, because that is my favourite film of all time, so favourite seemed to be a good option. And the song recommendations for this are El Tango de Roxanne and Elephant Love Medley. Now I do just want to say that if you would like the bare minimum to buy your ticket for Moulin Rouge, may I recommend watching the 43-second clip of Aaron Tveit singing the end part of El Tango de Roxanne that I will link down below in the description, because that clip lives rent-free in my mind. Thank you. Then we have My Fair Lady, which is a makeover, whether that's a book with a makeover scene in it or if it is a book that has had a makeover and had a new cover. And for that we have Wouldn't It Be Lovely and On the Street Where You Live. Newsies is Found Family and the songs are Santa Fe and Watch What Happens. The Phantom of the Opera, a classic, and the songs are Wishing You Were Somehow Here Again and All I Ask of You. The Prince of Egypt is a sibling relationship and the songs are When You Believe and Deliver Us. The Prom is a book with a party and the songs are Just Breathe and Alyssa Green. I will say these were both songs picked by me because I don't think Meg's listened to it yet, but I could not choose between them. Rent is a multi-POV book and the song choices are Goodbye Love and Seasons of Love. I also want to give a shout out to Halloween because I cannot choose between Halloween and Goodbye Love as my favourite. At the time of making these graphics I was in a Goodbye Love stage, but I'm very much in a Halloween stage now, so I will also recommend that one. They actually come straight after each other in the musical, so why not just listen to them both? Listen to the entire cast recording, it's such a good show. Then we have Rocky Horror, and the prompt for this is a buddy read, which I want to explain a little bit, because a Rocky Horror show, or the Rocky Horror Picture Show if you're watching the film, encourages audience participation. So there are certain parts where you're supposed to join in. You're not supposed to sing along for the entire show. I have great issues with people who do that at the theatre, but there are certain parts in this show where when they throw confetti, you're supposed to have rice that you throw. When there's rain, you're supposed to hold a newspaper over your head. There's a bit where Frankenfurter says, I see you shiver with Antissi, and then he doesn't finish the word straight away, and you're supposed to shout patient back at him until he says it. And I thought, seeing as though the show encourages audience participation, why not encourage you to participate with each other and do a buddy read? I was quite proud of that prompt, so I thought I would explain it. But the song recommendations are Sweet Transvestite and Over at the Frankenstein Place. For Singing in the Rain, we have a Sunshine book, and the songs are Make 'Em Laugh or Singing in the Rain. For 6, it's Royalty, of course, and the songs are All You Wanna Do and I Don't Need Your Love. We're going to ignore the fact that these leaflets keep falling down behind my head. I'm nearly there. So for Spring Awakening, we have an alternative format. Again, I want to explain this one because there was a production on Broadway, a revival a few years ago now, where they actually had a hard of hearing cast performing the main roles, and then whenever the songs would start, they would have another actor come on and sing the songs while the hard of hearing actor performed the song. And I believe they were using ASL as well, so they were also performing the lyrics, but just not vocally. So that was an alternative way of presenting that musical, and the prompt is an alternative format. And there's only one song for this one because Meg hasn't really listened to the show yet. I will say the song choice I put down is And Then There Were None, which is one of my favourite musical songs of all time. But trigger warnings because it is about somebody who is not doing great with their mental health, and it is sort of leading up to suicidal thoughts. So maybe be careful, but it is a great song. We then have Sunset Boulevard, which is a book with an older character, and the songs are As If We Never Said Goodbye and Too Much in Love to Care. For Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street, the prompt is Revenge, and the songs are A Little Priest and Not While I'm Around. For Waitress, the prompt is Sweet as Pie, and the song is You Matter to Me. And then the last 4 I quite like because they come in pairs. So we have The Wedding Singer, which is Friends to Lovers, and the song recommendation for this is Someday. Then we have West Side Story, which is Enemies to Lovers, and the songs for this are America or Somewhere. And then my favourite little pair, because it works really well because the musicals are actually paired as well. So we have Wicked, and the prompt is Villains, and the song is No Good Deed. And then we have The Wizard of Oz, which is Heroes, and the song is Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And that is all of the prompts. I know it was a lot. I'm not expecting you to have taken them all in right now. I am going to leave a file down below which is going to have all of the prompts listed on there. All of the little tickets that I've made are going to be on there, so you can even print out your tickets if you want to for your shows. It will all be listed somewhere if you want to read through it to sort out your TBR as well. There is also going to be a Discord as well. I'm going to link down below, as well as a Twitter. So if you want to ask me any questions, feel free to go onto either one of those and ask. I will say, if you're asking me if a book fits for a certain prompt, I'm generally going to say yes, just stretch them. It's absolutely fine. The other thing to tell you, I think this is the last thing actually. When I say there is a Discord, if you join there, you will notice there is a watch along channel, because during the month of November, I would like to arrange some watch alongs of some musicals as well. I haven't picked the dates for them yet because we're going to decide that in the Discord, but the plan at the minute is that we're going to watch one film adaptation of the musical and we're going to watch one pro shot, so one that is actually like a recording of a stage production. And I have picked what shows are going to be. There is a theme to them. I have also tried to pick ones that are like accessible because they are on UK streaming services, and they do happen to be two of my favourite musicals. So the theme is going to be one of my favourite actors, and that is Jeremy Jordan, and the watch alongs we're planning is for the film adaptation. We're going to be watching The Last 5 Years, and for the pro shot we're going to be watching Newsies. I'm so excited. I love both of those musicals so much, so I really hope that you will join me in the watch alongs on the Discord as well. Like I said, all the links will be down below. I think that is everything. I really hope you guys want to join in. I hope you're as excited as I am. It's just going to be a fun month of talking about musicals. Like, I don't do that enough already. I will say I'm going to see quite a few musicals in November, so every time I see one of those shows I will have to find a book that matches up with it. I'm going to try and like fit my TBR around the shows that I am actually going to see. But yeah, for right now, the main thing you need to know is that the sign up sheet is down below, and I can't wait to see what your TBRs are going to be. So thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff down below, and I will see you guys soon with a new video. Bye.